Hi there, myself Madhav Jha. I welcome you to CodeChef and let's have a look at this question.
The problem is increasing window. The problem difficulty is easy and you need to know binomial coefficient and combinatorics to solve this problem. Let's have a look at it. We have an array A of length n and it is said to be good with respective to parameter k if the following condition holds. That is, from our array A we will make an array B that will be of length n minus k plus 1 and each element of B, that is B of I, will be defined as the maximum of ai plus 1 till ai plus k minus 1 and it has to be strictly increasing. That means we have our array A, right? We'll have some elements in this, and then array B is made up of this block of k sized windows where we choose the maximum element and we put that as the element in B. And we need to ensure that all of them are strictly increasing. That is, bi plus 1 has to be greater than bi. It cannot be less than or equal to. Now, given two integers n and k, we need to count how many array A follow the condition such that the length of array A is equal to n. The elements in array A are always greater than equal to 1 or less than equal to n, and A is good with respect to k. That means from this array A, if we make array B, then it follows the condition that all the elements in array B are strictly increasing. Now, for our input format, we have t test cases, and for each test case, we'll just have on a single line two inputs, that is n and k. As for the output, on a single line, we'll have to output the number of arrays that satisfy this condition. We will do this with a modulus of a big number because the answer can be very big. Also, the constraints, number of test cases will go from 1 to 10 raised to 3. Length of the array will go from 2 to 2 into 10 raised to 5. And the value of k will obviously be less than n but greater than equal to 1. Let's see some sample inputs. So for the very first sample input, the n is equal to 2 and the value of k is equal to 1. It means that the array A and array B are just going to be same. So it doesn't matter in what manner we add the numbers because the only available is just 1 and 2. Because we have k as 1, so the B is also going to be same. So both A and B are same. And we want to ensure that B is strictly increasing. For that reason, the only available array is 1, 2. Therefore, the answer is just 1. Now let's see how we can approach the solution. So let's imagine this as our array A. We have the elements A1, A2, let's say till AK. And next up we have element AK plus 1. Now when we are making our array B, ensuring that both B1, B2 and all the other elements are strictly increasing, let's see what is the pattern that we can see. So let's say if we choose A2 till AK plus 1, whatever is the maximum element here will give us B2. And whatever is the maximum element in A1 to AK will give us B1. What this means is that the maximum element in our second block, that is from A2 to AK plus 1, has to be at this position, that is AK plus 1. Because if it is not and it is anywhere between A2 to AK, then that element will also fall in the first block, and that would mean that B1 would become equal to B2. The same logic can be repeated for the third block as well, that whatever is the largest or maximum element in third block has to be at AK plus 2. So in that manner, when we are forming this array, when we are trying to form our array A, we know that what are the values of k1, k plus 2, all this till n are going to be. They have to be strictly increasing, because if they are not strictly increasing, then we will not be able to make our array B. Now this leaves us with the initial k elements. These k elements can have any value, but what exactly value? So let's assume that for the first block, the maximum element that we can get was m, right? If m is the maximum element in the first block of k elements, and k plus 1 has to be greater than m, and so on. All of them have to be strictly increasing. But what about these k elements? They do not have any such constraint that they have to be greater than m. And in a way, it is exactly opposite. These k elements have to be less than equal to m. So here what we have to find out is the number of permutations in ways, that is the number of ways that we can fill these k elements. So each k element can take value anywhere from 1 to m, right? So in that manner, we have total of m raised to k ways to fill this element. But there is one more caveat here, that the maximum element has to be m. But what would happen if all the elements that we have chosen here are less than m? But that will be a problem for us, because our logic for the second half of this remains on the part that the maximum is m and all the elements are greater than m. So to find these elements, we need to ensure that the maximum available in the k element is m. So at least one of the elements have to be m. So for this, what we can do is we can find the number of cases where the elements are not m, like none of them are m. So what would that be? That would be when each of the element is only in the range of 1 to m minus 1. In that case, similar to how we found the total number of cases here, this is nothing but m minus 1 raised to k. This is all the permutations where none of the single element is equal to m. So if we simply subtract this, what we have is m raised to k minus m minus 1 raised to k. This gives us the total number of permutations in which all the elements are in the range 1 to m and at least one of them is m. Now that we got this, we need to find out this element as well. So now if you see from our range of numbers 1 to n, we have already removed these m elements because these have to be greater than m. So among the n minus m elements, how many elements do we need to choose? Distinct elements. So those distinct numbers are nothing but n minus k. Since you have already chosen k, the remaining is nothing but n minus k, and the total pool that is available to us is nothing but n minus m. So with this, to find this, we can use binomial coefficients, and then we can simply find it. So among n minus m, we need to find distinct n minus k elements, and since the answer can be large, we'll have to find a mod with it. So we can go over all the values of m in the range 1 to m, and whatever values we get, we can simply keep on adding them. We keep on taking the mod, and finally we'll have the total count of arrays that satisfies our condition, and with this we have our solution. Let's see how we can implement the solution in C++. So for each test case, we call the function solve. But before we call the solve, we have to calculate factorials so that we can calculate the values that we have seen. So in our formula, we have different values, that is, we have powers that are raised to k, and we also need to find the combinatorics of NCR. So for that reason, first we will calculate the factorials for all the numbers in our range. So we will pre-calculate this for the range 1 to 2 into 10 raised to 5, that is our constraint. Once we have this, we'll also write a function to calculate the power of, let's say, a raised to b with the modulus m. And finally, we write the formula for NCR, that is the combinatorics of choosing r distinct elements from n. Now in the solve, we simply get n comma k, and then over all the values of m that can range between 1 to n, we input it into our formula, that is nothing but m raised to k minus m minus raised to k multiplied by the combinatorics of NCR, that is nothing but n minus m to n minus k, and we do a mod with it. Then we keep on adding different values of m to it, and at the end we have the total number of distinct arrays. And as you can see, I have AC in my C++ implementation. Let's see how we can implement this in Python. Again, for each test case, we call the function solve. Before calling solve, we have already calculated different factorials and written functions to calculate NCR. Then in solve, for different values of m going from 1 to n, we calculate the number of ways that we can create that array, we add it up to our result, and at the end, we print it with a modulus of the value that we are given in question. At the end, we have the total distinct ways to get this array. And as you can see, I have AC in Python implementation as well. So I hope you understood the problem, the approach, and how we can implement the solution in both C++ and Python. Have a very good day, and I'll see you in the next video.